I know a lot of breweries that want to improve how they use data and analytics to make smarter business decisions. But in today's environment, everybody's really nervous about spending any money if they're not going to see a good return on investment. So what I did is I put this ROI calculator together that you can plug in your real numbers and assumptions and be able to see exactly how quickly a data and analytics program will pay for itself. Let me show you how to use it, and then feel free to plug in your own information. So first of all, up here in step one, you're going to enter in your current brewery data. And I've already preloaded this with some information. We have the number of barrels you've sold between tap room and wholesale. Think about the last year here. This is the sales per barrel you have. If you don't have these exact numbers, go ahead and plug in an estimate. It'll get you in the ballpark. Next up, we're going to do your cost of goods sold per barrel is going to go in this box here. Then thinking about your profit and loss statement, you can grab your overall labor expense and your ops expenses. Okay, so that's basically all we need from your current brewery performance. So plug in what it's been over the last year or last 12 months. Then what we're going to have you do is plug in some additional numbers. So let's say you're willing to invest, in this case, let's do $10,000 annually to improve your analytics program. Next up, we're going to be estimating how many hours per week of manual reporting will we start to save. So let's say right now somebody spends about a half a day per week doing manual reporting. So we're going to plug 4 hours in here, and then thinking through what we're paying them, kind of the fully burdened amount. So wages plus benefits, let's say they're making about $50 per hour. Okay, if you've kind of been watching over here as I've been loading in some numbers, we'll start to see some things populate in the calculator. Right now, we're just at a one-time return on investment. So this might even make sense for us to do. Spending money, and even though we're not getting any additional business benefits, we're saving on manual reporting. So already we're at that one-time ROI. But there's a lot of other benefits that come along with a good data and analytics program. So what you're going to do down here towards the bottom is you're going to enter in certain assumptions that you have on these benefits. So let's say we're bringing in all of your point of sale information. That's going to reveal some really good trends, some things we can put into action, which is going to increase the amount of barrels you're going to be selling through your tap room. And let's say in this example, we think we're going to be able to improve tap room barrel volume by about 1%. So I just plugged that number in there. And you'll notice we're getting some additional things over here in the calculator start to populate. So as an example, right now what we're showing is taproom barrels. This was your current amount that you plugged in up here. And now what we're showing is with the 1% increase that you plugged in down here, we're going to have an increase of 8 barrels, or going up 1%. Okay, so let's just play around with a few other ones here. Let's say you're going to have a better sales mix. You're going to, with these additional insights, your servers and bartenders are going to start to kind of push your higher margin items. So we're going to get higher sales per barrel. In this specific example, I'm not going to input wholesale sales. So let's say we're not focused on wholesale. That's fine. You can go ahead and leave these with basically, we're not having any impact here. But we're going to spend a lot of time looking at our cost of goods sold. We're going to dive into beer yield. We're going to look at recipes and ingredients. And let's say we think we have pretty good opportunity here. We're going to save about 5% on our cost of goods sold year over year. We're also, as we're doing our taproom analytics, we're going to be able to decrease some of our labor spend. Let's say we think we can get 2.5% savings there. And then ops expenses, by really watching these closely, maybe we can save 1%. Okay, so let's go back through and see what some of those results are. So right now we're showing a 9 times return on investment. So that's pretty good, right? We're getting $80,000 additional profit. We're saving these $10,000 on reporting cost for a total benefit of $91,000, dividing that by our $10,000 investment, which we plugged in earlier. And that's the math that's making up this 9.1. And we can see across the board, right? So we're seeing sales growth of about $36,000. And all that's coming from our tap room, because in this example, we didn't plug anything in for wholesale. We're seeing good margin expansion of about $53,000. We can see how that's broken down between tap room, which is most of it, which makes sense. because we're plugging in the higher sales per barrel increase on tap room, but we're also getting some for wholesale because we plugged in that we're getting a cost of goods sold per barrel decrease. Then we're getting our expenses lowered by about $27,000, and that's all adding up to about $80,000 or 50% more profit than we've had previously, with our profit percent going up from 7 to 11%. So some pretty good gains there, right? And that $80,000, just to tie this all out, is what was reflected back up here in the math that then plugs into your return on investment. So go ahead and use this, run some different scenarios. I think it's going to be pretty helpful for you to see really how quickly some of these analytics programs can pay for themselves without really even needing to plug in huge numbers down here on these different assumptions. If you want to be pretty conservative, keep all these numbers pretty small, 0.5%, 1%, 2%. That's no problem. I think you're still going to see that the benefits add up really quickly. So once you played around with some of those numbers, feel free to shoot me an email or give me a call. I'd love to talk to you and your team about an analytics program further, and we can really lay out how these numbers will work for your brewery. Cheers.